twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets trembling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land under the free and the home of the brave? Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight you in the name of the brave. We are the US of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save. It's land of the brave, the US of A. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the
What's going on, guys? Hey, how are ya? It's Thursday night, and this is a broadcast of the NNR Cup Series. Just like all weekend long, we saw the trucks get it done right here at Kansas Motor Speedway. Last night was the Xfinity. They got it done as well. Mind you, also, two first-time winners did a phenomenal job, and man, I'm looking forward to seeing if we're gonna have a third. Bama Trauma, thank you very much for coming on out. Rick James there to greet you. John Fry, old Fry Dog, good to see you also. Hey everybody, hope you're well. But man, it's I got to give a big thanks to Madison Rising for, as always, allowing NNR to use their version of the national anthem at the start of every single one of our races. I actually choose to keep that kind of set aside for Thursday night just for the Cup, guys. And man, man, I don't know what else to say. I'm actually wearing one of Dave Bray USA's shirts. Says Old School Patriot. You can see the old school, not quite sure about the Patriot. It's on the bottom. I'm also going to be giving away a signed CD that came with it. So at some point, we're going to go ahead and give that away. But definitely hope all y'all are out there and well and having a good night. Been keeping up with quite a few leagues and seeing things that's been going on. Vols is out there. Vols has actually gone ahead and picked up his own little community. The old, what used to be Shake and Bake, is going to be rebranded here very soon. But before we get into all that, Rick James here in the booth. Rick, it's Thursday night. It's Cup night. Ready to get this rolling, brother. How are you?
Pete, I'm so happy to be here, man. Happy to close out another NNR week with you, my friend. We're about to get going here at Kansas. They're finishing up qualifying, and we're going to see some exciting action. Tuesday night, we saw the trucks dominate the high line here, and it was a thriller. I'm expecting a lot of the same.
Absolutely, we saw. And what's the only thing that was exactly the same between both of those races, Rick James, was the way that the winner got it done. TGMB's got it done in that 88 truck with just a little bit of fuel saving. Actually, I can't even say a little bit, quite a bit of fuel saving. He got it done while sputtering down the backstretch. And then last night, the one and only Q-Dog, he got it done as well in a huge fuel save measure. I mean, he was... I thought at one point, because he was so far back, that he was actually going to lose the lead lap to the leaders that were trying to get it done on speed. But he was able to hold on a good 15 seconds ahead of second place, and Q-Dog got his first win. So he was already the overall points leader. But last night, with the win, solidified that position, and so... 2 nights in a row, 2 hashtag JPOM militia members get their first win. I'm looking to see if old JPOC can actually go ahead and get this one done. Any favorites stand out for you, bud?
Alpha York, always a big favorite here. Drivers like NNR Rowdy, Jose right now in the 16th position. He is a big player tonight. You've got a more smoke. Aviator, who won a thrilling Winter Indy race last night at Virtual Monza. There's so much talent in here, Pete. We can't forget Stout Whiskey or Boehner and Captain, just for a little bit of fun in there. I am so thrilled that we've got so many big, talented names in this field tonight.
Absolutely. I didn't see a more smoke or the Aviator in Discord. They might have been just in a party, but I'm sending over your invite right now that we can kind of get loaded in, get ready. We're going to go through the field as always. Got between 20 and 25 cars that'll be out here on track. But yeah, these are the best in preset default racing, hands down. And I have no doubt they're gonna put on one hell of a show. They always do. Anybody out there on Twitch, just know that tonight's broadcast is being triple broadcast or triple cat or whatever you want to call it, between YouTube at Repeat 1975 right here on Twitch, as well as Facebook. So please come on out, watch wherever you want. Just glad to have you along. Getting loaded in, Kansas Speedway, Rick, under the lights, about to rack and stack them up to, go through that pace lap, and then Coey's going to set them green. Here we go. Looks like it's going to be the 95, a Jose 95 on the front row with no surprise there, the 13 car of Lucky Dog. The 42 is CGMX Rose with the 8 car Fort Smitty to his outside. Got the 48 of the Aviator, looks pretty fast in that Jimmy Johnson throwback. 12 car Knights with the 22 of JPA on that inside. We'll have to see if that inside is a detriment or a help to him as the race gets going. 2 car Stout Whiskey, Forever Fast, got it done last night, I think in American Ethanol. Good job for him. 18 car of NNR Rowdy. 41 of the one and only Dan the Lawn Man in that Haas Mustang. 32 of NNR Drake, formerly known as Exclusively Elite. 4 car and Natty Dread with the 9 of a more smoke. Well, there's our answer. He is in the field. 21 of Parzival, my Silent Hunter. 24 of NNR Coey, our community owner. 53 of Mike Honcho. 16 of NNR Trip in that Fraternal Order of Eagles Camaro. 00 of Doc Hudson. 36 of Boehner. 88 of Alpha York. 38 of Fatless Dig. And we are back. 47, 27. 10 car Cheese, and now we're back up front going green. Rick, 95 into turn 1, all you, buddy.
38 laps in this opening stage. Welcome to all the fans joining us on this Repeat 1975 simulcast of NNR at Kansas. Down the back, single file 95, 13, 42 into the third corner Toyota Chevy, and already, Pete, the high line is the active line.
Yeah, high line all the way around, all the way through 3 and 4. As soon as they got through 1 and 2, and they were done side by side, they kept up there. Now, Rick, the biggest thing all week is trying to keep the left sides underneath that, or just above that seam, all the while trying to keep the car off that outside wall. If you can navigate that, not lose your composure, not lose your confidence, not be too overconfident, you're probably going to have a pretty good race. Right now, 95's kept it in the clean air for 2 laps in a row with the 13 right hot on his tail.
4 Chevrolets in the top 5. 95 leads. Aviator rounding out the top 5 in the 48 with 36 circuits remaining in the opening stage. So far, a lot of drivers really comfortable with this high line. You can see that they've put in the practice, but now the question has to be asked, where do you make a pass, Pete? If the high line is fast, how does a driver get the speed to make an overtake?
What we've seen on Tuesday and Wednesday night was actually just a little bit of, as DW used to say, co-opetition between a couple of drivers. One giving a little bit of a shot to the back bumper, and the other one taking a little bit of momentum, either on the high side or diving it down low, and just barely at times able to complete that slide job. So we'll have to see if that's the same thing tonight. These guys are not on the lowest of drafts, but they are on the low draft. So you're going to see some separation, just not quite sure. We're definitely not going to see the big packs that we've seen at some other races. Tell you what, Rick, Rock NASCAR just threw it out there in chat that just as an FYI, Shake and Bake just lost the whole lobby from the servers. So kind of an early bump. Hopefully it's not a thing of what we're going to see all night long. So far, this lobby looks pretty clean and green.
Clean and green coming around these final 2 corners. The 95 of Jose has led every lap with the 13 of Lucky Dog in close tow. CGM Rose holding on to that 3rd position pretty well, but Rosie's got trouble because Fort Smitty in that blue, red, and yellow Cat Chevrolet is up his tailpipes, but then the Aviator rounding out the top 5 is close to that 8 car. These 5 cars have stuck together and they've pulled out about a half-second gap to the rest of the competition.
Yeah, rest of the competition being headed up by the 22 of J-Pod. 2 of his hashtag J-Pod militia members were able to win on Tuesday and Wednesday. Right now he's sitting P6. He's got the 12 car of Knights right in his back pocket. And then it's that forever strong 2-car Stout whiskey. I mentioned that Stout got the W last night. I believe it was from Chicagoland in American Ethanol. I watched part of that stream. Definitely looks strong. Looking to see what he's going to be able to get done here. But yeah, so far, Rick, it is all high line. I think I see maybe 1 or 2 cars down low where there's just no hole for them to fill. Everybody else really just guiding that wall.
That wall is going to be the guideline, but as we saw Tuesday night with the Truck Series, Pete, high risk means high reward. The 2 of Stout Whiskey pulling up to the 22 of J-Paw and the 12 of Knights taking a backseat to the 2. These Penske Fords now losing a little bit of time to the pack behind them. So now the 4, and there's Rowdy through the air, more smoke on the back wall. Rowdy gets T-boned by the 47 of Augustus. Caution is out for the first time tonight.
Yeah, caution's out for the first time. We're going to go ahead and run a quick ad break that we can kind of get it out of the way. Helps anybody joining in afterwards. Ladies and gents, we will be right back. If you are still here, absolutely appreciate you. Vols, Bama Trama, and quite a few others, Rock NASCAR. I think I might have redid your gift, not 100% sure, but thank you all very much for helping me. You all see this new piece of equipment right here? That is because of you. With that first check that I told you I got, it went back out in gift cards. Second one, to help the stream, definitely appreciate you very much. All right, Rick James, it looks like that 30-second ad break is over. We're going to go ahead and rack them, stack them up one more time. Looks like Jose 95, even though I'm sure he went in and got a little bit of help. I don't know whether he went with wedge tires or whatever, but now he's on the bottom line. 13 of Lucky Dog to the outside. The 8 car of Fort Smitty now P3. 42 of CGMX Rose, number 4.
And this is the time where drivers are going to have to take advantage of the low speeds, high acceleration. They're going to need to overtake still 2 by 2 out of turn number 2. Camry and Camaro on that front row. Lucky Dog to the outside, Jose to the inside. 4 Chevrolets in the top 5, but now Lucky Dog has the line and the speed out of 4. New leader, car number 13.
Car number 13 in a big gaggle all the way back. I don't know if somebody might have accidentally slapped the wall just a little bit, but it made everybody a little nervous. I think the pucker factor went up to at least an 11, and they're going to have to now just kind of settle down, recompose themselves, get back into line wherever they can, and figure out a way to make their car work off that high side, carry a little bit of speed in the middle lane as well, but you definitely don't want to go to that bottom because it just bogs those RPMs down too far, Rick.
Pete, it does exactly that. I'd like to see these drivers be a little more brave through the corners. They need to get a few more on that low line and use that momentum. Looking at Ford Smitty in the 8, who was enjoying much of the top 5, has now dropped out, and the momentum is not with him. The 4 goes by, the 32 goes by. That's NNR Drake and Natty Dread, respectively. Now a more smoke to the outside of the 24 and the 41. That's Coey in the 24, and I believe Dan the Lawn Man in the 41. A couple of DNFs already. Captain in the 27, Pete, not finishing today's race.
Yeah, unfortunately, Captain, he's been pretty strong since coming to NNR. Very, very unfortunate. I think there was actually somebody said that Captain was just a little ill. I'm not sure if you heard that notification. I don't know what that was or why that was, but all right. Yeah, Captain, he's been pretty strong since he came to NNR. Rick, it just looks like there is just a very, very long train along that high side. Flint the Ghost, good to see you. Thanks for coming out. Monster Mike, old NNR Chevy, thank you very much for those 100 bits. Rick, these guys at some point, they've got to, you know, the person up front, they've got to be wearing out their stuff while some of these guys in the back just kind of, throttling or just barely pedaling this thing and just staying up there. While we're not running the high draft, there is still just a little bit of a draft that they're able to get. Rick James with 101. Thank you very much. Monster Mike, he just kind of outdid you by a penny. Thanks, man. But yeah, Rick, pretty good racing all along that high side. Don't really see anybody tagging that wall a whole bunch.
Monster Mike now has to do one better and give up 102 bits to keep that train going. 13 still leads. The 42 of CGM Rose in the 2nd position. And Pete, the car that was leading, the 95 of Jose, has been kicked outside of the top 3. He now sits in the 4th position with a very determined J-Paw coming up behind him in 5th. 3 Chevrolets leading, Camry, Mustang 4th and 5th, Stout Whiskey in the 2 in the 6th position, Knight in 7th, and then we have that red number 4 of Natty Dread sitting in 8th, Drake 9th, and the field is getting a bit dicey behind him. Look at this challenge into 3.
Yeah, all right ahead of the 22 of J-Pop. I'm sorry, yeah, he's got the 2 is Stout Whiskey right behind. Shadowlack, I saw what you tried to do out there. I was actually just doing the same exact thing. Flint the Goat wants to know how he can join NNR. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put the link out there in chat for you as soon as my mouse decides it wants to work well with others. Rick, it looks like Monster Mike took you up on your challenge. Here we go. And there you go. So, Flint the Goat, just go on over to nnrleague.com and leave a message. Either the one and only NNR Coey, Stout Whiskey, Boehner, J-Pop, or NNR Swats will get on back to you and see what we can do. We'll schedule a test and we'll kind of go from there. We are getting to just about mid-season. I don't know how much time is left, if any, to join, but man, we'll see if we go from chat to on the track. We've seen it many times. Rick, all the way in the back now with his 18 of Rowdy. He got involved in that one caution. Looks like he definitely paid the price.
Paid the price indeed. Now riding along with that 18 car, Rowdy finds himself behind that 10 of Cheese, trying to catch up to that red number 4 that was just enjoying some time in the top 5. So a lot of positions being, that's that red 38. A lot of positions being swapped around. Rowdy determined to make his way into these points, Pete. He finds himself 6th in points this year with 6 top 5s in 10 starts. He would do well to get another top 5 tonight.
Yeah, he would do very well. It's good. There's a whole lot of points out here. Shad, thank you very much for the reminder. Absolutely appreciate it. I always forget these stage icons. But man, I'm trying to do better. Just a little bit going on tonight. We'll get this rolling. Rick James, front of the field, is pulling away everybody in front of this 32 of NNR Drake. He's definitely got some space to make up.
Space to make up indeed. The 32 of NNR Drake, kind of the plug to the mess that's going on behind them. But if we look in fourth place, it's the 95 of Jose, who's barely hanging on to this lead pack. Stout Whiskey now to the inside of J-Paw for 5th place. And earlier we saw Bill's Legend in the chat say J-Paw better win, hashtag Bill's Mafia. But now at the front, the fight for the lead is getting really tight. The 13 of Lucky Dog. Oh, and Rosie tags the wall into one. I was just going to say CGM Rose in second, but now Aviator sits in second, Rose third out of turn number 2.
Yeah, Aviator looks like I think he's got that 48 Ally throwback turning very, very well, and I don't think it was loose just because of the way that the nose pointed coming off of turns 1 and 2. He was able to turn down just a little bit and still continue to get it digging, and just the way that he came off of turns 3 and 4 right there kind of proved my point. I think that 48 is handling very, very well. I think he's going to be challenging Lucky Dog for the win here, and Rick, I wouldn't be surprised if it's with a big old slide job attempt.
26 laps underway in stage number 1. Lucky Dog 385 leading the 48 of Aviator into the third corner. These two were dueling last night in Indy cars, Pete, and they were cutting up the track something fierce. An intense battle between these two, and we have the same again. And this here speaks to just the level of competition and the level of talent that these top two have. Lucky number 13 laps to go in the opening stage, and Lucky Dog in car 13 has a big blue mirror behind him.
Yeah, he's got a very, very big Aviator right in his back pocket. 42 of CGMX Rose was able to recover after slapping the wall pretty well. 95 of Jose, your pole winner, now sitting about P4, and then pretty decent gap on back. I believe it's going to be the 2-car Stout Whiskey, the 22, and then the 12. So you've got you got 3 Ford Mustangs with a little separation between themselves and 7th, as well as the top 4.
Top 4 going well. 3 Chevrolets in that top 4. Jose in 4th place. And then going on back to 5th, it's the number 2 of Stout Whiskey, who's not off the pace, but struggling to catch up to that draft. Now 11 laps to go with this opening stage, and really, Pete, it's been the Lucky Dog show since the restart. However, a 48 of Aviator now to the inside. He is desperate to make that move, Pete. These top two are going to have a big fight on their hands in these closing laps.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the 13, he's actually running his pro league car, so out here knowing that he's got some pretty stiff competition. 48, I thought he was going to have a pretty good run off the corner. He looked like he was up high, used the banking to try to maybe catch a little bit of speed. It really looks like the 48 is just as good, if not a little bit better. Look at the run through the center of the corner. I think he might have been able to get something down low, and I think the 42 of CGMX Rose would have gone with him. Rick, just an example again of how well I think that 48 really is driving. If he can get in the front with that clean air, get on by this 13, I think that 48 might have the capability of checking out.
These two running a part-time schedule, but they're here tonight and tearing up this competition. It's no wonder that the rest of the field fears the talent that these two cars have. 38-14, and now the 42 of CGMX Rose trying to join the fray. Slams the wall out of 2, and Jose's in position to take 3rd in these closing laps. Lucky Dog holding on to that lead by a thread. That 7-time tribute of Aviator is right there, ready to pounce. And this isn't the only action on the field, Pete. There is so many battles currently underway. This low draft not producing a boring show at all.
No, not at all. Just as you said that, I caught up with the 22 of J-Pon, the 36 of Boehner. Both of those guys are behind the 32 of NNR Drake, and then, of course, the 2-car Stout Whiskey. I tell you what, I'm not sure if it's because the 42 tagged the wall once or twice, but that 2-car is Stout Whiskey. He is starting to run down Jose 95 in that 95 Portal Camry rather, as well as the 42. Stout looks like he's, yes, pretty stout tonight so far.
Stout as well. Stout Whiskey finds himself third in the points standings. In 10 starts, Stout Whiskey finds himself with 7 top 5s and 1 win this year. 106 points off the lead to CGMX Rose, but only 8 points behind second in the table, Amore Smoke. These cars just separated by threads on the racetrack and threads in the table. Even though it's only stage 1, Pete, the tension is palpable between these rivals. 6 to go.
Yep, exactly. 6 laps remaining. Can the 13 hold off the 48? Can the 48 hold off the 32? And so on. 95 still right there. 2-car Stout Whiskey now ever more, ever closer to that back bumper of the 95. Shadowlack, you know what? You've been here a little bit now. If you don't mind, buddy, I'd like to go ahead and give you mod privileges. That way you're capable of, throwing out the links and things like that. Buddy, definitely appreciate you. You might have to back on out and then come back in, but thank you very much for your help and for your assistance. Same thing as Fry Dog. Fry's capable of doing the same thing. Guys, I definitely appreciate all your help.
Out of this fourth corner now with just a mere 5 laps to go. Lucky Dog 385 holding on to this lead. Aviator a little bit further behind him now. It looks like Lucky Dog is able to pull away, and now Aviator has CGMX Rose, our points leader, right behind him. 4 to go at the line, Pete. Lucky Dog starting to run away.
Yeah, starting to run away. I wonder if the 48, while he was fast, it was completely burning up his resources. I'm looking at the at least one of the guys I know is definitely streaming. The one and only Alpha York back there just a little bit sitting in P13. Right now, his tires are screaming at him. He's got 11% left on the right front with 4 laps remaining. Rick, I don't know if the guys up front are going to be able to go the distance or if that right front's going to pop. That might be the reason that the 48 had to back it up a little bit.
It had to be the reason at all, Pete, because these 2 drivers have an uncanny ability to save their resources like none other. It's what keeps Lucky Dog, CGMX Rose, Aviator, Jose, and Stout at the front of this race. And CGMX Rose and Stout Whiskey are 2 of the top 3 drivers in points right now. So it's no surprise. However, we know they won't go the distance in stage number 3. This here is a good exercise for all the drivers who aren't sure about their tire mileage to make the necessary adjustments to go the distance in stage number 2. Pete, laps wind down, fuel burns, tires burn at an alarming rate. Drivers who conserve most will be there at the end.
Yeah, it really is, especially at a place like Kansas. Tire conservation is all there is to worry about. Well, that and that outside line, considering you got to be up and close to it if you want to keep max momentum and really be strong all the way through the center and off the corners as well, without Rick at the end getting wicked loose. As you just see the 42 do right there. I think that was the end of stage number 1. Congratulations to that 13 of old Lucky Dog for grabbing max points. We're going to take one more quick break. This isn't what you think. Y'all want to know how to follow NNR? See a couple new people in here. Here you go.
Hey NNR fans, don't miss any of the action by following or subscribing to Repeat's Twitch channel. Turn on notifications and you'll always know when the best preset league on Xbox hits the track. Check out his YouTube channel too to see all of NNR's past races. Follow No Name Racing as well as Repeat 1975 and others on Twitter, and you'll never miss any of the action.
All right, Rick, as always, anytime we take a quick commercial break for anything related to NNR and how to follow, how to purchase, how to do anything, you don't miss a thing. We're going to work our way back up front right now. 13, a Lucky Dog, didn't miss a beat in and out of the pits. Good job by by his pit crew. 48's going to be able to slide on down. Good thing about those shifters. 13 and a 1 and 2. Here we go, Rick. Stage number 2.
13, 48, 42 on the inside line out of the second corner. Geico leading Ally, leading Credit One Bank out of 2 down the back and into turn number 3. That 13 Geico Chevrolet up front winning stage number 1, but the Aviator will not take that sitting down. 2 wide for third position between Stout Whiskey and CGMX Rose out of the fourth corner. Leading lap number 1 in stage number 2, the 13 of Lucky Dog 385 headed into the first corner.
Yeah, 13-48, 2-car now taking over P3, sole possession of P number 3. No longer a battle between himself and the 42 CGMX Rose, as Rose very slightly and very, very gently, I might add, slides in right behind that 95 of Jose. I don't know if he thought he was clear. I think he just moved up enough, and then finally he was there. I don't know if he thought he was going to end up clipping that 95 and taking them both out or knocking them both into the wall, but good heads-up driving by the 42. Great track awareness by one of NNR's Pro League drivers.
NNR Drake in that number 32, that Halloween edition Corvette Parts.net Ford. Now on the outside, he sits in the 5th position for the first time today. Boehner behind him in that 36. Boehner, Pete, finds himself in 4th place in points right now. A great gap behind, but 4 top 5s in 10 starts this year. With an average finish of 9.5, Boehner would do incredibly well to take home 6th, but obviously the top 5 is beckoning right ahead.
You know, last season when the championship came down to it, Boehner was in that championship 4, and it was because of being consistent as well as knocking off a couple wins during the season. So far, this season, Boehner is winless, but does pretty well out there on track towards the end as well as throughout the stages. So I look for that 36 to continue to run strong all night and all season long. Again, Rick, next week is mid-season point as we head on over to, I believe it's Canadian Tire, and then we've got our All-Star race after that.
A couple of great weeks coming up for No Name Racing, one of the best leagues you're going to find on Xbox, and you should head over to nnrleague.com and check out their shop with the fastest mugs in breakfast. NNR Drake in that 32 sitting in the 6th position, running the high line. Drivers like Rowdy in the 18 find themselves on the outside looking in, and they seem to be stuck in these single file trains, Pete. I'm now looking ahead to 3rd place, Stout Whiskey in car number 2. This is the first time that this Discount Tire Mustang has been on the podium positions so far. Will he hold it?
I absolutely think he can. You know, Stout is one that goes all around. He can race presets right here with NNR, and then after this go and run a custom setup league somewhere else, and there's no transition, well, let me kind of warm up kind of time frame for Stout Whiskey. He is a wheelman. For as long as I've known him, every single league that he's run in, every kind of competition that he's run in, including the one for that E-Richmond series, which he won, by the way, he's always been great no matter where he is. Stout's just a natural wheelman here on, it was Heat 3 at the time, the Heat 4, and now Heat 5.
Heat 5 has done it well so far. Stout Whiskey seems to have gotten the feel from that hot rod in stage number 1. Chevy Ford, your top 3 with a Toyota and a Chevrolet rounding out that top 5. Jose and Rosie now 4th and 5th respectively, with Drake looking on in the 6th position. Out of the 4th corner, riding along with Alpha York in the 14th position. There's a gap, Pete, between that top pack and then the pack behind. It really seems there's a gulf in class between the leaders and the rest of the drivers that have yet to figure out the draft.
Yeah, from the 42 on back, I mean, yeah. There's like 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, then a just about a 2-car length difference back to the 95 of Jose. Then Jose's got the 42 Credit One Camaro all over his back bumper. Behind the 42, you got Drake. Then you've got the 36 of Boehner. Then you got the 22 of J-Pa, I believe, followed by the 9 of Amore Smoke. So, as always, Rick, you could start anywhere. Even on a highline track like this, if you got a good piece to race with, you're going to work your way up. As kind of keeping up with the 88 of Alpha York. He is on the backstretch on his lid, but I don't see where cautions come out as of yet. Looks like because he wasn't collected and he wasn't right up on the track, looks like we're going to stay green. Something happened back there with Alpha, though.
Bit of a bad stroke of luck for that beautiful looking number 88 Jimmy Johnson tribute. He comes down pit road for service now, so he's going to go undoubtedly one lap down, possibly even two. Now with Lucky Dog, who's leading this race back at the front. He hasn't relented from that lead so far, but Aviator stays in close company. Pete, I'm thinking it's going to take Sorry, I was going to say, I'm thinking it's going to take some sort of bravery or a really gutsy move on the middle line to overtake the 13 or the 48.
You know, I know the 88's probably pretty damaged up right now, but one good thing is when he went down pit road is he's spending about 20 seconds there. When that happened, it gave him a full tank of fuel, 4 brand new Eagle Feel Goods, fix up a little bit of that damage and come on back out. He's got 30 laps now in the tank, and there's 28 to go here in stage number 2. Everybody else is going to have to pit. Even though he lost a lot of time because of the damage and trying to get back up and going again, he might be able to make up some time with those 4 fresh tires. We'll have to see where the 88 finishes up stage number 2, and if he's able to garner any stage points, even though he didn't go down pit road with the when he really wanted to.
At the front of this race and in second place as well, we've got a lead change. The Aviator, now your new leader in that ally number 48. Stout Whiskey in the 2 in position number 2. Chevy Ford, Chevy Toyota, your top 4 into turn number 3. And that's CGMX Rose in the 5th position with Drake still in 6th. Boehner sitting in 7th. Now as they cross the line, pit stops won't be a factor for most of these drivers, Pete, but again, conservation is the name of the game. Now that Aviator's sitting at the front with Stout right behind him, it's going to be tricky to keep a fast pace while also saving your stuff for the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to see if the one and only Boehner is actually streaming tonight. I'm going to go ahead and reset my feeds, but yeah, right now 48 of the Aviator, 2-car Stout Whiskey, 13 of Lucky Dog, 95 of Jose, 42 of CGMX Rose, and then the 32 of NNR Drake, again formerly known as Exclusively Elite when he first joined NNR. He's having a great run, staying very, very fast, keeping right up there with most of the leaders that we see just about week in and week out. This could turn to be a very, very good points night for that 32 if he's able to stay right here or even advance his position.
NNR Drake finds himself 14th in points right now, 2 outside of the playoffs. He's got 9 starts this year and only 2 top 10s with an average finish of 16 3/4 and 2 DNFs this season. 287 points off the lead is not where he saw himself at this point in the race. However, round 11, Pete, is the time for NNR Drake to show what he's made of. A 6th place finish, shoot, Pete, anywhere inside the top 10 would be a sight better than where he's been all season long. 20 to go.
Well, Rick, we at some point I would like to think that everybody's heard that song, that Saturday night's all right for fighting. Well, what about Thursday night? Maybe Drake came here loaded for bear, ready to take it all here at Kansas Motor Speedway. He knows that the high line is where everybody's going to be. If he spent a little extra time tuning on that 32, that could be why he's up here right in contention with everybody else, not really hurting any feelings, keeping that 32 car clean, and he's still sitting here in P number 6 right now. So good job by Drake.
In the Cup Series, Pete, car number 48 has won this event here 3 times. The great Jimmy Johnson, whose car is being piloted by Aviator in first place, is with that Aviator. He pins his ears back and he flies to the front. He hasn't relented since. 19 laps to go as they cross the line. 48 to 13 leading this race. 18 to go, excuse me. It'll be 17 next time by. You see Stout Whiskey looking for some clean air or possibly even a move, but Aviator is rock steady at first.
Aviator's rock steady. Here comes a rock solid attempt to try to get the pass. Can the 2 car get on down and then bring it back up? It doesn't look like it. Actually, 2 cars going to bring it on down pit road. So we saw the 88 come in earlier after an issue on the track. Well, here comes Stout Whiskey pitting out of second place. Rick, this could prove huge for Stout. He's got a fast car. He's proved that since the get-go. But now he's going to come on out, and I don't see any of the other leaders except for the 32, now also the 42 of CGMX Rose, indicating that they are pitting. Where will Stout come out? We'll just have to wait and see. It looks like the 12 of Knights is also on pit road. Here is that Discount Tire 2 car sitting in his pit stall, rocking around a little bit. Right's on, left's on. Don't see any damage. We should see him come out right now. As we do, we'll have to see where he's able to blend in. Ferret Man, good to see you out there in chat, buddy. It's been a while.
Jose now in third, Boehner sitting in the 4th position, Parzival 5th, Rowdy 6th. Jose dips 2 tires to the inside. He'll be coming down pit road, and Boehner will claim that 3rd position. Now into pit road comes the 48 of Aviator as well. So it looks like this time around, compared to stage 1, pit stops will be a thing. With 15 laps to go, Lucky Dog now has the sole lead by 1.0 seconds over Boehner in 2nd. Smitty sits 3rd, Doc Hudson 4th, and Augustus rounding out the top 5.
As Stout Whiskey was full bore all the way through all the way through 3 and 4 after coming out of the pits. Here he is all the way up on the high side, doing everything that he's got to do. His true test right now, as he's through the center of 3 and 4 and coming off, is where he sees that 48, where he sees the 13, where he sees the 32, the 95, and others. Will he be, key man on top, or is he gonna be right where he was before? Passing the 95, now passing the 48. Looks like the 2 car Stout Whiskey will move up 1 car number better. 2 car to P number 1. Congratulations, Stout.
We'll see what happens when the stops cycle back around. Stout slated to take that 1st position, and what a gap above CGMX Rose in the 42, and then the Aviator sitting 3rd. A huge gap to the back. At the front of this race, it's still Lucky Dog 385 by 1 1/3 seconds over Boehner. Smitty, Augustus, and Doc Hudson 3rd, 4th, and 5th, respectively. So now the question that piques my interest, Pete, is how far will these top 5 stretch their mileage?
Man, that's a very, very good question. Harvick fan, thank you very much for the host, sir. Absolutely appreciate it. Good job the other night in the the E-Spark call with I believe it was Marty out there. Man, you've definitely come a long way, buddy. Congratulations on yet another great stream. Glad to have you here with us.
13 still leads now coming out of that 4th corner, and it looks like the 13 is now down pit road, Pete. So that's going to give the lead to Boehner in car number 36 with 11 to go in stage 2.
Riding along with that 36 right now, that Select Blinds Ford Mustang. We'll have to see if Boehner decides that tonight or right now is the time. So far, still staying out. I don't think he can go the rest of the way. Unfortunately, Boehner is not, he's not sharing any info with us tonight. Normally, Boehner is one of those guys that streams and gives us a hand. Not so much tonight, just relying on the 88 of Alpha York. And so far, Boehner's got a pretty good lead back to the 2. However, that 2's been out there on new tires for quite a while. Rick, I don't see any kind of a benefit in staying out this long in just stage number 2. You can't go the entire distance on what you have in the tank. However, and this is something that just kind of clicked, Nope, there he is, pulling down pit road. I was going to say, I know Boehner's got one of those shifters and is notorious for pushing in that clutch when he needs to. And yeah, well, here he is. But back up front, 2-car Stout Whiskey back in the lead. Got the 88 of Alpha York now. I believe he just got lapped, or the 88 is sitting in P2. Nope, 88's back to P22. P2 going on by. Here comes the 48 for P3. Alpha York right now, the first car, 1 lap down.
2 of Stout Whiskey leading now with less than 10 laps to go. It's going to be 9 at the line, and that discount tire Penske Mustang leading this race. Rosie sits in second, and then we've got the 48 of Aviator sitting in third for Chevrolet. Chevrolet in the closing laps of stage number 2. It's been unexpected to see the 2 of Stout Whiskey doing so well, Pete, but he's holding his own so far.
Yes, so far, and as the 88 went on by the start stripe last time, there were 9 laps remaining. So, Rick, we're in the single digits. Can the single-digit car hold back the 42 and the 48? We'll have to see. Stout Whiskey, you know he's going to try it. He figures if he can hold that high line, not tag the wall, and just maintain, it's going to be very, very hard for those 2 behind him to get in front. Right now, Stout Whiskey looking for a great payout here in stage 2.
In 2019 and in 2011, it was the 2-car of Brad Keselowski that managed to come home in the first position and take home all the marbles, and that's what Stout Whiskey's looking to do here. But now the 42 of CGMX Rose has caught right up, and there is no gap between them. Rosie hunting down first place.
Yeah, Rose right there with a little bit of help from the 48. And you know, Boehner, Rick, I was following along with Boehner there for a second. The 2-car actually might have just a tad bit of damage on that on the front of that deuce, or it could just be never mind. It's just the paint where the black comes up off the hood a little bit. So yeah, Stout Whiskey's still driving a pretty pristine Mustang. Got a couple of hungry Camaros though right behind him.
Stout Whiskey leading CGMX Rose, the points leader, sitting in second place. 5 laps to go next time by. Stout Whiskey finds himself 3rd in points this season. 10 starts, 7 top 5s, and an average finish of 6.8. He's done the best he can do so far, but the points leader is right behind him, really dialing up this pressure. 5 to go in stage 2.
5 laps remaining. 2-car, 42-car, 48-car. All good friends, both on and off the track. These guys talk a lot. They applied a lot of pressure in that 704 motorsport game contest that's going on right now at Homestead. I think last I saw, Rick, 4 or 5 of the top spots were held by NNR drivers, and right now you got 3 of the very best occupying the top 3 spots. We'll have to see if anybody's going to be able to kind of catch up to these guys, but I don't think so. It looks like right now they are the class of the field, and I would imagine after a stage break as well as that short caution we had in stage number 1, their cars are pretty dialed in for the rest now.
3 laps to go at the line. 2:42, 48, your top 3, and these 3 cars have just formed a big train behind these leaders. NNR Drake sitting in 4th with Lucky Dog behind him in 5th, and they will have a hard time catching up to these top 3. Now, with less than 3 to go, Pete, Stout Whiskey still holding on to this lead with 2 furious Camaros behind him.
Rick, I don't know if the 42 can actually do anything with the 2. The 2 is still, even though he's got a lap or 2 fresh or older tires, it really seems like that deuce is holding that high line. I don't see him getting tight. He's holding a very, very pretty line, very pretty wheel. He's keeping that 42 at bay. The 48, all he can do is hope that maybe the 42 will pull down, maybe use a little bit of the banking coming off the corner to try something. Now the 42 kind of setting back, maybe hoping to get a little bit of a draft, going all the way through the corner. Big run by the 42, closing, but not enough to try to pull on down as they come to the straightaway, or was I mistaken? Is that a challenge by the 42? No, it's not. Ducking right back in behind the 2. Rick, I think this is 1 to go.
2 leading into that first corner, the 42 car right behind him, and then the 48 of Aviator ready to pounce. Just 1/2 lap remaining in this second stage. Rose scrapes the wall. Here comes the Aviator to his inside. 48 to the inside of the 42. 2 car has the advantage into 3, Pete.
Yeah, 2 car advantage into 3. Right now, second and third side by side. 42 to the outside. Made a little bit of contact with the wall. 48 moving on down just to avoid any kind of possible incidental. Congratulations, Stout Whiskey. Max points. Stage number 2. Rick James, what do you think we try to dial up old Stout Whiskey, see if we can't get him here in a booth for a moment for just a quick little word. Let's see if I can find him right quick. Actually, Stout right now is not in, he's not in Discord, so we're not going to be able to do that. Maybe some other time. But man, one hell of a show by that Discount Tire Ford Mustang, keeping it up there even after he was the first one to come down pit road. All right, so we'll have to see as they get ready to get Rack and Stack back up one more time under these Kansas lights. It looks like it's going to be the 2 car able to hold serve on that bottom line. 42 CGMX Rose to the to the top rather. 48 of the Aviator, 13 car of Lucky, and then it looks like that's going to be the 32 of Drake to occupy the P5 spot. As we go back green, Stout Whiskey able to get a great launch using that wheel and shifter to pull ahead of the 42 of CGMX Rose. Ladies and gents, the start of stage number 3. We'll grab a lap count for what we've got in this stage in just a moment. Definitely want to thank everybody one more time for coming out, hanging out, keeping us busy, chatting it up. It's been a great race so far, and as the 88 comes across the start stripe, it looks like stage 3 consists of 51 laps, so everybody should have to go down pit road one time. They get about 30 laps of fuel. Rick, that 2 car looks pretty fast, pretty poised to try to stay right where he's at.
Mustang, Camaro into that third corner. Stout Whiskey leads the 42 of CGMX Rose, leading the 13 of Lucky Dog. Welcome into the top 5 for the first time today. More smoke. Pete, that number 9 UniFirst Camaro, second in points right now, 98 points off the lead from first place CGMX Rose, who finds himself in the second position. More smoke with 4 wins this season, currently tied with most with your leader, CGMX Rose. It's a refreshing thought that second in points is up into 4th, making a challenge for this lead.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that beautiful 9 UniFirst Camaro sitting right in front of the 48 Ally throwback for Jimmy Johnson, you know, his younger days. 36 of Boehner, 95 of Jose, 95, 32 of Drake, and you got a few more back there. One car I know a few guys out there in chat are waiting on is to see if that 22 of J-Paw can maybe take a page out of TGM Beast's book and maybe try to do something on fuel here in stage 3, or maybe Q-Dog back it on down, try to maximize everything that they can. One big difference though, Rick, which I don't think will really come into play for such a strategy, is those 2 lower series, they run 100%. These Cup guys, they run 50%, 2 times wear, 2 times fuel. 50% less laps means 50% less strategy. Most of the guys are going to have to try to do it on speed.
Going to have to try to do it on speed. They're going to have to try to do it on strategy, Pete. They don't have a choice with the 13 of Lucky Dog, the 48 of Aviator just dominating these top 2 stages, and now Stout Whiskey showing a lot of fight. There's so much competition to deal with, Pete. This field is stacked to the rafters, and it's going to take something special to beat any of these drivers in contention for this win. but in stage number 3, it's almost twice as long as the first or second stage respectively. So if you open that Rick James dictionary and go into the P word, my friend, you'll find patience highlighted in every color under the sun. 46 laps to go.
Absolutely, patience. You got to be patient getting into the corner. You got to be patient getting back to the throttle at the same time, stabbing it to make sure you don't lose too much of that momentum. You really need patience to keep that car off the wall. Hold a very, very pretty wheel. Don't jerk it around too much to where you're either putting too much wheel in, which can, really take a toll on that right front tire. There's, patience can serve you in many, many ways at a place like this. And here comes the 42. I think he figures he might have been patient enough. Thought about ducking down inside the 2 of Stout Whiskey. Maybe tried a little bit of a side draft off the left rear, but no such luck. Still 2, 42, 13, top 3.
Out of that fourth corner, the 13 of Lucky Dog looking for a move to the outside of the 42. Now coming across that line, these 2 Camaros, nose to tail and no space between them. 43 laps to go. Next time by 4 Camaros in the top 5. And all those 4 Camaros being sandwiched by 1st and 6th. Those Mustangs of Stout Whiskey and Boehner, respectively. Behind 6th place, Pete, a bit of a gap to Jose in 7th and the rest of the field. Perhaps this single file drafting on the high line means more speed for the leaders.
Oh, absolutely, more speed on leader. This, with everybody in one big line along that high side, it's almost like Daytona's been flipped on its ear, and now instead of the bottom line, everybody guiding their way around the butter, they're all guiding their way around that outside wall. Except if you tag that wall, it's going to bite you a little bit harder than the apron will. So all these guys doing a very, very good job. In the Truck and Xfinity Series, if you got caught up in the draft by just a bit and you missed your mark by, to start turning into the corner, whether it was the draft or whether it was, whatever it was, the additional speed that you had when you were practicing during the week, you kind of found yourself into that wall a little more often than you definitely wanted to. So far, no real issues in, I'd say, about the top 10.
No issues at all at the front of this race. Still that 2 remains undisturbed, leading this one all the way back through 6th, 7th, and the rest of the top 10. No major changes. 41 laps to go, Pete. So drivers need to start thinking about pit strategy because it will be a one-stop race. But now, do drivers pit early, or do they stretch it as far as they can, hoping to have the freshest tires available for the finish? So many points positions are going to change given the look of this top 5, Pete. It's going to be a massive shift.
Well, I tell you what, they started stage 3 with like 51, maybe 52 laps. Right now there's 40 laps remaining. Can somebody, or will somebody, take a page out of Stout's book where he was the first one to come on down, left the rest of the leaders out there on track, and that 1 or 2 extra laps where he was full bore going into 3, no lift, no issue. All he had was clean air on the nose, able to worry about his line, and that was it. And maybe try to gain that little bit of a benefit over the 2 car. Or will Stout, I'd say maybe right about lap 26. With 26 to go, will he come in? They get about 30 laps on a full tank of fuel, so grab those 4 freshies, do whatever you got to do as your last second adjustments. If you haven't figured it out by now, these guys, long runs is what NNR is known for, so they know that they've got to make sure they've got a car to last the entire duration of their tank. So will Stout do it first? Will one of the guys behind him come on out first? There's a lot to see, and with 38 laps to go, I don't think it's going to be too long before we start to see who's coming down pit road to try to gain an advantage.
That's exactly what we're going to have to see, Pete. As always, the 2 great equalizers on this racetrack, the yellow flag and the pit road speeding line. Any of these drivers could fall victim to that speed and ruin their race. Stout Whiskey still leads with 37 laps remaining in this final stage, but you can believe that these drivers are either A, drafting to save resources, or sizing up their competition. I will say, Pete, it looks like the greatest opportunity to overtake will be through the pit road delta.
Absolutely, getting on pit road, woeing it up in just the nick of time. Now, one thing I noticed, and something that happened to a guy on Tuesday night, if you come across the commitment line with the brakes locked up, it will read it as though you're speeding, so you can't come across, trying to grab as much speed as you can, and then stabbing a brake, sliding across the line, because it will consider you speeding. You got to serve the black flag. So these guys are going to have to worry about that a little bit sooner. I don't know how many black flags there were during the first two stages. But we've seen these leaders kind of all come in together and go out together. It was just Stout Whiskey that had the upper hand in stage 2 when he was able to grab max points. Again, we'll have to see if pit road grabs anybody.
The two still leading comfortably, the Aviator sitting in second place with Lucky Dog behind him. But Pete, the way that the Aviator's the 48, the way that the 42 of Rose and the 13 of Lucky Dog have calmly held their positions just leads me to believe that they're letting Stout Whiskey lead this race, burn his resources, and take one more driver off of that list of fierce competition. This top 6 is peeling away from the rest of this field, and if someone doesn't stop them, they're going to get away with this for the rest of the event, Pete. Pit stops are going to be, look at this challenge for the lead here, the 42 of Rose, now to the inside of Whiskey.
Yes, looks like Stout got a little tight coming off that last exit and really had to put a little extra wheel in it. But he still got that momentum from the high side. That's going to save him all the way through 1 and 2. 13 a Lucky Dog. Looks like he almost might have slapped the wall with the right-hand corner of that 13 Geico Camaro. 42 is CGMX Rose, still down low. Too early to pit. He's got, a little bit of contact with the 9. That's going to put the 48 into the grass. Good job by the 48. And Rick, that just broke up this entire top 5. A little bit of contact, a little bit of low driving. 42 trying to squeeze on up with nowhere to go. Now, that actually brought the 32 back into play, and even though they're on low draft, I think he's about to pull up a few more cars.
NNR Drake with the 95 of Jose behind him, and then the 4 of Natty Dread with Dan the Lawn Man in tow in car 41. Then that looks like the 8 of Fort Smitty, if I'm not mistaken. But now, you called it, Pete. Drivers are starting to suck up a bit more close. The 32 now getting a tow from the 48 of Aviator. Aviator scraped against the wall. He's done with the top 6. Now about to lose the position to Drake in the 32, Jose in the 95. Pete, it is a huge shuffle.
Yeah, very huge. The only thing that has stayed consistent through all that is the 2 of Stout. Still up at the point, but yeah, that Ally 48 now a little bit of just a little bit of damage, nothing too severe. So he should be able to now settle down, get back into rhythm, get back on his line. He doesn't have anybody directly in front of him, no dirty air to contend with. I'm not sure if that car right in front of him was getting loose off the corner, or if that was kind of a mediocre attempt or signal saying that he's going to be coming on down pit road. Nope, he's going to remain on that high side. 48's got 32 kind of in tow. 48 kind of right in the middle between one bigger and one smaller pack.
Absolutely. Now coming across this line, Boehner finds himself in the 5th position, hanging on to the tail end of this lead pack with the 48 of Aviator now forced to use resources to make his way back up. There you see the 36. It looks like the 9 of Amore Smoke also diving down to the inside. Do we have our first takers, Pete?
Yeah, yes. Looks like it. Yep, the 16 of Trip is on pit road. 9 looked like he might have cooked it just a little bit. We'll have to see if he was able to get on the binders or if he tried to pull on back out. But he was on the inside of that commitment line and it might have grabbed him. More smoke might have just gotten served with a black flag. We'll have to see. But yeah, the 36 is in, the 18 is in, and a couple of others. We'll see how long it takes before the two and company come on down for their one and only pit stop if this all goes green.
Pete, this is the money stop, barring a yellow flag. The 9 is down and away. Amore is not stopped by a penalty, Pete. He just made it. He's going to get out with the 48, with the 36, and those 3 cars going to be back in the hunt for this lead. Now the 2 of Stout Whiskey dipping down to the inside of the 13 of Lucky Dog to the outside, Pete, and it looks like the 2 of Stout is now coming down pit road for tires and fuel. New leader, Lucky Dog, in car number 13.
Yeah, new leader Lucky's going to stay out just like he did earlier. The 2-car Stout Whiskey as well as the 42 of CGMX Rose both peeled off and came on down pit road. So now is this going to be an unlucky 13? It doesn't look like he's statusing this time either. Maybe thinking, okay, well, you know what? These guys behind me, they're going to go on down pit road. We'll have to see if they have any issue. Now, the 13, he did not duck down, but yet here he comes. He's going to come on down pit road. I'm pretty sure he had the status, so they might have to go back and review this. I don't know. But either way, 13, he came on down. There is the 42, which means the 2's still somewhere around. There you see the Park 10 car, the one and only Cheeseburger. So, yeah, pit stops well underway.
25 laps to go next time by, and in this final quarter, Pete, we'll see what these cars can do. The 48 of Rose is down and away. The 13 of Lucky Dog struggling to get in his pit stall due to all this contact, Pete. Will this be it for him as well? Dan's in the pit stall. The 95 of Jose has gone around. Look at Fort Smitty turned in the opposite direction, Pete. Absolute chaos and calamity on pit road, and I've lost connection.
Yep, I lost it too. I actually just picked up. Yep, I just picked up the stream of the 88 of Alpha York. Let's see if we can actually dip in with, let me see here, 1 second. Sorry, guys. Rock NASCAR warned us that there was an issue going on. Let's see if we can pick up with somebody, try to grab an invite back into the lobby. Let's see. There's Coey. Guys, if there's anybody listening, we've kind of been kicked out of the stream. What do you know? 4 minutes to 10. If somebody comes on down pit road, can you please send us an invite? It would absolutely, or at least me or Rick, an invite. It would absolutely be appreciated. All right, Rick. So hopefully someone was there to heed our request. But in the meantime, ladies and gents, we're going to go ahead and pick up on the
Pete, you got me?
Al.
Fantastic.
Okay, so yeah, we are back right now. We're keeping up with the 88 of Alpha York, sitting in P19 out of 24. Rick, I did ask the guys if any of them went down pit road to please send us send me an invite and I'll get you, or if you come up first, send you one and then you'd get me. But yeah, Alpha York rocking this, still rocking this 88, a little bit further in the back, and judging from his view, he's seen a few people kind of get kicked. Just saw somebody on the outside, go figure, along that high side, that ended up lagging out as well. So I don't know if there's anybody left to pit.
Pete, I'm riding around in 17th position with 22 laps to go. The 36 of Boehner, he's just ahead of the 2 of Stout Whiskey, who appears to be ghosted on the racetrack due to connection issues. But those two nose to tail, and the leader right now being scored as the 9 of Amore Smoke, coming to the final 20 laps in this race. Boehner's backed out, Pete. I don't know if that's going to be it or we're going to finish this race.
I don't know. We're definitely, I would imagine that we're past any kind of fail-safe area. But then again, we did have big issues with the Xfinity race last week, and J-Paw made the call to try to start it back up a couple of times. Just saw the 42 ghosted. Again, that CGMX Rose down on the bottom. Or it could just be that Coey is out here trying to gain, information. Where's everybody at? What's going on? You saw the 36 of Boehner out. I just saw the 88 of the 88 of Alpha York go on by Boehner. Just now went on by the 24 of Coey. He's catching up to the 10th place old Augustus and actually driving right through him. Yeah, these servers have gone to crap.
Pete, I just saw Boehner, but he's on his stream. He's done us a kindness and allowed us to see how he drives this racetrack with his head in his hands, and you can literally see the frustration, Pete, that these drivers have with these servers. They've clearly have had it, and Boehner, who's one of the cooler heads out there on the racetrack, if he's emotionally upset, I can only imagine what the others are feeling. This is frustrating for everybody involved, to say the least.
Yeah, we just saw Alpha York's stream go up in smoke as well. That big old bright yellow bar across the bottom saying, lost connection to the server. So if Boehner's got his head in his hands and Alpha York's stream is gone away, I tell you, Vols, if you're out there watching, getting ready for the league formerly known as Shake and Bake Racing League, I'm sorry to hear. Alpha York actually now out there in chat saying we're going to be restarting with either a 13 or a 25% race. Alpha, thank you very much for letting us know. And also, buddy, thank you very much for keeping us in the loop all night long. So we're going to bring it on back to the normal NNR page. Hello again, everybody. So let's bring this on back. We're going to back on out all the way and allow them to reset. So, Rick James, I tell you, first two stages, I got to say that the two-car stout whiskey really looked to be very, very close to the best. The 13, he was able to lead a few laps, but not able to hold everybody off. So, between the two-car, the 13 car, the 42 car, and the 48, who would you have? What's your top four if you were to line those four up when we get to the checkered flag?
Pete, you'd have a demon's own job of picking between the 38 of Lucky Dog or the 48 of Aviator. Those two trade blows like Vander Holyfield and Mike Tyson in the ring. It is a pleasure watching those two race. Special mention to the 9 of Amore Smoke. The 32 of NNR Drake has been holding his own, and of course, you can't overlook the 2 of Stout Whiskey, but my money would be on the 48 of Aviator to take home all the marbles tonight.
Yeah,
that's the wrong person to bet on there, Rick James. But did y'all lose connection too? Was it
Absolutely.
going haywire?
I think we were among the first to lose connection there, sir.
Okay. Yeah, it made me speed on pit road, dude. I was slowed down and then it sent me up to 75 mile an hour.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Good time.
Yo, I tried to come on over and, for a quick chat after you were able to grab max points in stage 2, but old Stout Whiskey actually wasn't in Discord. What a pity. So, man, we were just talking about how fast you've been. I actually think that you've probably been able to lead the most laps. That two car has really looked great in clean air and able to fight your way up when you weren't in the lead. How is that discount tire Ford Mustang?
I was really good, especially there at the beginning, man. Like you were saying, I was able to track down that front group of Jose and Aviator and Rose and Lucky Dog. I couldn't do anything with them just because, can't manipulate the air with low draft on. And then made some good adjustments, decided to pit early because I knew track position was key. And, I was just watching what Rose was doing in my rearview mirror, and I would change up when I would tap the brake here and there. Different spots in the corner just so he could not get the run off the corner because he definitely had a couple laps, fresher tires. And, it's pitted from the lead. Like I said, it made me speed on pit road. I really appreciate it, Pete, if you went in there and told him that you got disconnected early on, just because. I told him, I was honest with him. I told him, I was like, look, we're going to restart this. It needs to be, we need to go back to, the running positions before the pit cycle, just because that's when it went all screwy. It was cars flying all over the place. But
well, I wouldn't be lying. I mean, as soon as we saw you peel off and go down pit road, and then we actually saw Lucky Dog go down pit road, and he didn't signal. We thought he was just going to go around one more time, and as soon as we caught back up with Lucky, caught back up with the 48, he was all over the place, and yeah, I got kicked, and then about 15 seconds, Rick James got kicked, and yeah, that was it. So yeah, right now red flag's out. Hopefully you guys can get on pit road and get lined back up. I guess take a pace lap or two.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna make it a point then, especially joining in here and Rick James saying he's got the 48 car. I know he wins the IndyCar race, but we're over here cup racing on Thursday night. So when I pull off this victory, Rick, you're gonna interview me. All right, boss.
Looking forward to it, Stout. Good luck, buddy.
I'm playing, dude. We'll see how it goes. Y'all take it easy.
Stout Whiskey sounds like he's ready to introduce a plate of crow in front of the one and only Rick James, so we'll have to see. But yeah, Rick, ready to serve this back up one more time, and I don't think it's going to be a plate of crow. We'll definitely have to see. So about another 13 or 25% race. You figure the first bit of the race was 25%. So I'm guessing about 28 lap shootout. What do you think?
Right around that, Pete. So we'll see what they do as far as tire wear is concerned, see if they include any pit stops here. Kind of a fun variable that they've thrown into this race as well. I'm sure it's going to be a lot more racy, a lot more cagey in these opening laps as well, knowing that it's going to be a very, very limited sprint to the end.
All right, and Rick, I just got your message. Please let me know if this is any better.
You sound a little better, Pete. We'll find out. We'll find out when we.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's a lovely new mic here, courtesy of the wonderful fans we've got tonight. Thank you. Big shout out to all the people in the chat and all the subscribers.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was man, I couldn't thank people enough. I said during my first year, right after HD stopped broadcasting, that I was going to take anything that I got from my first check from Twitch, and I was going to pay it forward, or pay it back, I should say. So I bought a couple die casts, and I bought about $80 worth of gift cards. And yeah, I paid every single penny of that back. The second check that I got, a pretty good majority went to the device that you see right here, brand new Yeti mic, pop filter. It's a what is this? Something I don't know. I can't read the name on the pop filter and the arm right now. But yeah, ladies and gents, this is all courtesy of you, your bits, your subscriptions, all that. So every single bit of it goes right back into the stream to help me broadcast something nicer for y'all. I appreciate you coming out, week in and week out, race in and race out. Absolutely appreciate every bit of the support. And Rick James, you've come a long way too. Starting off TNT, get to meet up with you. We start broadcasting races. You gain a bigger following. You turn affiliate, and now I think you're getting closer and closer to 300 followers as well, aren't you?
275 up there on the screen. So as soon as that first Twitch check comes in, it'll be up to me to pay it forward, just like you've done for this community. So when the first check comes in, I plan on doing the same, giving back to the very community that made me. We would not be here without our fans, our subscribers, everybody in the chat giving up bits and likes and emojis everywhere. It is quite literally the fans that make this platform go round, Pete. It is my pleasure to be a part of this community, and it is a privilege to give back to the people that make it possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, like you said, it would be very, very boring if we were sitting here calling a great race. And even though the excitement on track and everything going on there is always a lot of fun to watch and to call and all that. But if we had just a vacant, a dormant chat panel, it would be, yeah, not so much. I'd be here doing it anyway. This is what I love to do. So yeah, for me, it's not about it. It's never been about the money, but I absolutely appreciate some people paying that $5 a month, others going and merging their Twitch and their Amazon Prime account. That way they get that free subscription every month, as well as additional games and downloadable content. They get Twitch TV and all kinds of things just for doing that. So, man, absolutely appreciate it. And, there's a guy out here in chat right now, Rick, KG Swats, runs the NNR Truck Series. He needs a little bit of love, too. I think everybody that's out there in chat right now, go ahead and smash on that tag. Give him a follow. Does one hell of a job running the Truck Series. Completely fair, unbiased, does everything by the book, but isn't afraid to speak up anytime he feels that a change in the community is needed. And then, of course, Rock NASCAR server gods are not being kind. Total league lagouts up to 3. So I'm not quite sure if that is counting Shake and Bake just before we went live, or if that is. If not, they're talking about a big number 4, and I don't know if it's due to these Homestead races, Rick, but kind of coincidental, isn't it?
Coincidental indeed, Pete, and enough can't be said about the patience of these drivers and the dedication they have to this game. Certainly, we're all looking forward to the next iteration of this game, and certainly a lot of us in this community are happy to be a part of this community, but certainly very much looking forward to the bright future that will be NASCAR Heat on console. A lot of these drivers currently branching out in a lot of different disciplines, with Forza Motorsport 7, Assetto Corsa slowly coming to Game Pass, and the ever-popular iRacing really catching a lot of attention for many, many, many of these drivers. So Heat 5, a big part of this community, and going into 2021, it will continue to be, and very excited for the summer and the future of NNR and the future of NASCAR Heat.
Yeah, future NASCAR Heat. I'm hoping that the next iteration of the game. They're saying that it's not going to be called NASCAR Heat. It's going to be called something else. But Rick, my biggest fear is just that it won't be another, and I've made this known many times, that it won't just be another, okay, so we've got this out there, we're working on the next one, and we're working on the next one. It won't be another 5 or 6 years of, wait, we're getting better, wait till you see the next one. We want the next game to be, take their time with it, make sure all the bugs, all the kinks, everything is worked out of it, and then put it out. Heat 5 is, Atlanta has really called it what it is. I'm not going to really get too much into it, but I definitely want a product that is going to be great right off the shelf or once downloaded. I don't want another work in progress. But yeah, you're 100% right about iRacing. In fact, Monday night, a lot of the guys, I think there's about 5 or 6 guys, including SWATs out there in chat, that'll be turning some big laps over at a very, very popular 1 mile egg-shaped oval. The PSES guys will be at Darlington, track Too Tough to Tame, Old Lady in Black, whatever you want to say, and all those guys are going to be trying to keep that stripe from occurring. Usually, it's right about 40 trucks on track, Rick. I'll be streaming right along with those NNR guys. So everybody, come on out. Make sure you give cheer those guys on. They absolutely appreciate it, and so do I.
Well, Pete, the racing community stretches far and wide, and certainly there is never a doubt that the dedication or that the desire to race is there. However, the platform has to allow for the racing to occur undisturbed. The platform has to allow for this exact situation that we're filling and filibustering through to not happen. With all due respect, Pete, we'd be done by now with this race if the servers could hold up. And if I could speak candidly for a moment, not only between us but the fans listening as well, next summer cannot be. Next summer cannot be a, well, at least it's not Heat 5.
Yeah.
Next summer, when the next game is released, it can't be just good enough, or it can't be, well, at least it's not as bad as the previous iterations. That, as a consumer of this game, we're not just commentators. We're deep in this community. We have many friends that are racing tonight and in other leagues, and we even dabble into the race ourselves once in a while. We're consumers in every sense of every possible way in this game. We see every in and out of it, and I think it wouldn't be a stretch to say that next year's game has to be a unanimous success for everybody involved. Otherwise, it will just be seen as NASCAR Heat 5 2.0. As KG Swats put it in the chat, Heat 4 2.0. Many in the community feel this way. As you mentioned, Atlanta Racing certainly has voiced quite an opinion about this game and its developers. And hopefully next summer, when I say that we're looking forward to this game, what I mean is we're really expecting everything to be fixed. Otherwise, it could be seen as a failure.
Yeah, it could be seen as a very big failure, very big flop. That's obviously not what I want. I love getting out here, love talking to all these guys, broadcasting their races, keeping up, going to some of these races. Like we're a bunch of us planning on going to Daytona, a bunch of to Bristol, Richmond, Martinsville, whatever. These guys in NNR and in a lot of other communities like to do things together. All right, they really are very much a family, and they do a lot of things as a family. If there was no racing, whether on Heat 5 or whatever, if they don't fix what's going on, there's a lot of leagues that are just going to completely dissipate, and we won't really be doing this, or we might have to find some other avenue to go. After 09 went away, I think there was a year or two. I think that went away in 09. I don't think we had another game until 2011. We weren't quite sure who was going to pick up the copyrights to another NASCAR game. So when a new one came out, we kind of rolled with it. It's not too bad. And then Technics, and then 704, and it has gotten better. I thought for a while, NASCAR Heat 4 was a whole lot better than Heat 3. They fixed a whole lot of the physics and all that. But the way that it's gotten recently, it's just not where it should be. When you look at the engine that puts all this together, the Unity engine, Rick, it's the same engine that is used for some of the games that you play on your cell phone. And here it is on one of the best consoles that are in many households to be able to race on and play on and carry on with a lot of your guys. It's the same thing. I mean, it's got to be better.
Exactly right. We must do better. And like you said, the family is going to end up moving into a different house. One member of that family has actually joined us in the booth. Jose is here. What's up, Jose?
So we are going to do 7%. I don't know if you guys know, but 7%, which is 19 laps. We're just going to finish it. We all are going to pit, get our adjustments in, and then get in line based on stage 2 finish, and go from there.
Sounds good.
Sounds pretty good. Well, Jose, while you're here, might as well ask you, man.
Yes.
we've seen you carry on. You got the pole. You had the 13 lucky dog to your outside. You led quite a few laps. What do you think that 95's? What do you think of the 95's chance to maybe get it done?
Beginning of the race pretty high, but throughout the race dwindling very low because it's just one lane, which is, I like Kansas. It's one lane. It's the high side, which I prefer, but there's like no passing at all. I don't know. It's hard to pass. I'm assuming it's probably just a low draft that we have, but I don't know. We'll see. I finished 8th in stage 2, so hopefully I can get some spots from that high side, and hopefully top 5. That's what I'm aiming for. If not, hopefully someone in front has issues, hits the wall, and then hopefully I can get by.
Well, our buddy HD Motorsports used to call you the cleanest driver that he'd ever seen on the track. I gotta agree, you really don't mix it up with very many people out there. That Fanatec equipment that you've got when you were picked up by Levine Family Gaming has definitely seemed to help your cause. Good luck in this final short stage. We'll definitely be watching, man.
Thanks, Pete.
Hey, Pete.
Hopefully servers survive.
Coey, what's happening, sir?
Hey, so you get the word that we're going to go 7%?
Yep, 7%, about 19 laps. Good old Thursday night shootout.
Yeah. We're going to go down pit road, get our adjustments in, and then go on the next lap. If they don't all get them in, we might take one extra lap.
Okay. Well, if you guys don't go on the second lap, we'll know. But definitely wish you luck, man.
All right, thanks, bud.
Thank you. Jim Coey, ladies and gents, the owner of NNR, speaks. Oh, Rick, so 19 more laps to go, maybe 17, depending if they take 2 extra laps to get their setups in. Hopefully nobody rear ends anybody on this makeshift restart. With 19 to go, we've seen a few people be able to hold that high line for 19 or more laps. Who do you got?
Pete, now that I know it's a 7% event, I could throw a dart at a dartboard and pick any of the drivers that we've seen in the top 5 today. Genuinely, I think it's going to be the driver that holds the smoothest line at the front for 7 laps, but given the draft, given the fresh tires and fuel, it could be any driver with a bit of bravado and a little bit of good timing as well.
Yeah, Jose 95, he was talking about having to restart on that high line. That's absolutely the line that you want to restart on. We'll have to see if somebody on the outside also gets a great jump. A lot of these guys, they put a lot of time, effort, and some major dough behind what they all like to do, whether it's here in NNR or elsewhere. They've got the wheels, they've got the shifters, they've got the racing seats, they've got all that. So if somebody on that outside line is able to get up and get going through those gears faster than the person on the bottom, it might make the difference. And we might be looking at a 95 up front. We might be looking at a 2 of stout whiskey, depending on where he restarts. I know Coey, definitely with this break, it really seems like him and Stout, J-Pa, Boehner, and the other admins have taken their time to make sure that they do the best job they can to line these guys back up and get ready to set them loose again.
They're just getting ready to go, Pete. I'm sure that every driver's just been given a breath of fresh air, a second chance at life, and now the points table that was about to be flipped upside down could be turned another 180 degrees. It's actually kind of fun, Pete. It's frustrating that it's have to come to this, to be honest. It's not a situation that anybody involved wanted to see tonight, but we're going to make the best of it given the poor situation that we are continuously dealt, and we're going to make lemonade out of some very tired and overplayed lemons this season.
Very. And again, hopefully it'll be better on the flip side. If not, a lot of people out there in chat talking about iRacing. I subscribe, SWAT subscribes, Shadlack subscribes, Coey and Bowling, Cowboy, and many others. So that might be where it's at. The only issue you have over there is every now and then somebody talks about netcode, which is kind of like what the old bubble used to be a couple years back or a few games back. But ladies and gents, while they get ready, we're going to get ready too. We're going to take a quick little 30-second break. Rick James talked about some old, fast mugs and hoodies and polos. And hey, anytime a golf ball flies off the tee, it's flying also. Let's head on over to nnrleague.com. Take a look at the Zazzle tabs. Take a look at the merch that's available. Go on over, pick up yours. And as our buddy Mountain always said, rep your NNR red. We'll be right back. Oh, what a night, Rick James, it has been. Definitely want to thank everybody that's out there that continues to sub along. Absolutely appreciate it. Again, this device right here is all because of you. Only you guys are actually hearing us talk right now. Everybody else has one more 30-second ad break to go through. One more very big heartfelt thank you from me to you. All right, Rick, we are back. Second little ad break right there. Took us to about a full minute worth of, just kind of hanging on. Just waiting for that invite to come on back so we all know we can get back going. One more 7% race, 19 laps, 17 after they take their lap or two to go on in, complete the lap so they don't lag out, then get a couple of adjustments in before they set them free. These Kansas lights are going to treat somebody very nicely.
These Kansas lights, they're going to shine brightly on one of these drivers tonight, and more than a couple of these drivers are going to be looking at next week saying, we're not in Kansas anymore, thankfully. So let's get this race going, Pete. I'm sure a lot of these drivers are also ready to finish round 11 of NNR Cup this season, and No Name Racing is ready to continue this circus.
Yep, I just got an invite, and I'm just checking in on Boehner's stream right now. Actually, I got a network error on his stream, so I'm going to go back and...
York is up, Pete. They're racing.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pull this back up right now. Hopefully this one sticks like you always say, Rick, but we're just not throwing anything at the wall and see it if it sticks. We need it to stick. And I'm guessing, the game actually kicked me out all the way. All right. Loading in. They're going to be under their pace lap, sending you your invite right now, buddy. Rick, thank you very much for your patience as well. I mean, sticking right here with me. Says a lot about you also.
Pete, it's an adventure every week. Regardless of the situation, we could be calling a duck boat race across a pond. I'd still be there right next to you, calling the event, man. We'd make some magic out of it. But truth be told, it's a privilege being here with you every week, and it would be a lot more enjoyable if the game was more stable. But we'll see in the future. For now, let's get this race underway. Let's finish it up.
Yep, I see Coey in that 24 Liberty U Camaro. He's at the point. I guess everybody's gonna kind of line up single file behind him, or Coey might just be saying, okay, this is where you go. Again, they took a good 15-20 minutes or so to get ready for this 7% shootout. Everybody's gonna go on down pit road, hopefully they're okay, I'm not quite sure what that was right there. Okay, that must have caused a caution. But yeah, they're going to get a chance to come on down pit road, and that would be it. But yeah, they took a little bit of time to make sure they had the lineup as best they could, and we're going to watch them finish it out.
We're going to watch him finish it out indeed. Now coming across this line, we're going to have less than 15 laps remaining when it comes to the end. It's truly going to be a shootout to the finish.
Excuse me. Yes, sir. A few people trying to get back into their position as quickly as possible, all while trying to stay safe and damage-free. They absolutely, a little bit of inconsistency there in the lobby. Seen some cars kick to the right just a little bit. So I see the two of Stout Whiskey up at the point. 42 CJMX Rose to his outside, 48 of the Aviator. Rick, these cars are jerking around just a little bit. I'm hoping we're going to be able to get through this.
We're going to find out here, Pete. Once again, we fell victim to the bump, as we have every single night this week, but we'll finish this out as strong as we can. Stout Whiskey to the inside, CGM Rose to the outside, coming to the line, anticipation high, nerves on edge. Across this line, we're racing again, 14 laps to the finish.
14 to go, two-car Stout Whiskey down low, 42 right behind him. He chose to protect that bottom line and then wash on up. 42's not going to have any help to try to get on by the 2-13 of Lucky Dog right there. 48 of the Aviator right where he has been. The 32 of Drake, the 9 of Amore Smoke. Rick, it looks like right where we were before that nasty bump. Now 13 to go. Hopefully it's a non-unlucky 13, and we can keep this rolling.
13 laps remaining in this race. Stout Whiskey leads. CGM Rose in the second position. Now coming out of turn number 2, single file on the high line. Pete, it's going to take a special move, a brave move. Points leader sits in second, Stout Whiskey just ahead, but right behind him, he's got two drivers that are racing a part-time schedule with literally nothing to lose. The 13 of Lucky Dog, the 48 of Aviator, NNR Drake in 5th position. Points, bragging rights, and egos to race for. A dozen laps remaining.
Yeah, a dozen laps remaining, and the 42 just got shuffled out the same way he did before that last round of pit stops, where there was a little bit of contact. Now able to find a spot right behind the 48 of the Aviator. KG Swat's out there in chat saying 13 is kind of lingering. Is he going to be able to pull underneath the 2? Stout Whiskey goes down, blocks, 13 stays up high. Stout's going to come on back up, pick up the 13. 48 all over the back bumper of that 13 Geico Camaro. Still everybody right behind the deuce.
10 to go next time around. 2-13, your top two with the 48 sitting in third. You saw the 42 of CG MX Rose try the move to the inside of the Aviator in car 48, but it just didn't stick. NNR Drake gets high into the wall. He's loose and his race is done. Coming down, trying to find some position. He's into the wall. He comes back down at a 2 wreck out of the 4th corner, 2-3 cars around, but we stay green so far, Pete.
Yeah, so far still green. Listening. Nope. Yeah, still green. I thought the 48's motor had a drastic change in pitch. Not so much. Here comes 2-car down low, and now the caution is out.
I thought that was him getting loose out of turn number 2, but you called it, Pete. Caution is out. 2-13, 48, your top 3. It'll be less than 10 to go when we take the green flag. This is going to be a thrilling finish. And look at this, Lucky Dog coming down pit road. The leader and Aviator staying out. Rose will take over 3rd.
Oh boy, I hope that the 2 and 42 weren't too far past the white line when the option to open pit road right there was thrown out there. Or will Coe say, okay, go ahead, take it on by next time by grab an adjustment, and then we'll go green. But if pit road was called open after the 2 and the 42 had already passed the commitment line, that could have just very well taken him right out of this race.
So now we'll have to see what's up. The 2 still leads, but he's going to be on worn tires compared to that of his opponents. Looking back, Pete, it looks like the top 6 did not pit. Possibly the top 8 with a couple of stragglers there at the back, but it's going to be just a minimum number of laps remaining. So drivers like Lucky Dog, who've been fast all night, have their work cut out for them. They gambled and they may have lost.
They may have, two-car Stout Whiskey. The best thing he's got going for him, he's got a buddy right there behind him, the 48 of the Aviator. Aviator's going to be starting on the outside. I know very well both of these guys have very similar equipment. They've both got the wheels. They both got the shifters. They both know how to get up and get going through the gears very fast. 42 CGMX Rose, he's going to be restarting on the bottom. Will he be able to do anything with that? The 36 of Boehner, this caution helps him move a few positions up. That whole thing started when the 32 of Drake got shuffled out, went up along the outside wall and just had nowhere to go. There were cars that came up on his back bumper too fast, hit him, they went elsewhere, and next thing you know, they're all through the grass. And caution had to be called because the game didn't bring it out, oddly enough.
Coming to the line now, Pete, the 2 of Stout Whiskey leading with the 48 of Aviators, who's outside. That 48 car is not racing a full-time schedule. He's going to go for broke. Green flag in the air, back up to speed at Kansas with just 7 laps remaining.
At 7 to go, looks like Stout was able to get a great restart. He's got the 42 of CGMX Rose right behind him. Rose looks like he's gonna maybe have a hole in order to pull up right behind the 48. So now Stout Whiskey with a good car length and a half or so lead on the rest of the pack. Aviator sitting P2, 42 CGMX Rose, the 12 car of Parzival now in P number 4 with 36 right behind him. If Pars can finish right there, this would be a great points night for that 21 Wood Brothers machine.
5 at the line, next time by 2:48, 42, your top 3 now. Into that 4th position is that red number 4 action out of turn 2. There goes Dan the Lawn Man, and his race is going to be finished. It's Natty Dread sitting back there in that number 4 car, and you called it, Pete, in that 21. It's Parzival sitting 4th. 5 to go, Boehner in 5th, Aviator looking to move, but now here's Rosie in the 42.
Rose had nothing. He gave a little bit of a shot to the back bumper of the 48, but the 48 just stayed right there with the 2. Both of these guys have the same amount of tires on, same amount of laps. Should be the same amount of wear on their tires. 42, the same thing. 21, he didn't pit. Neither did the 36. So top 5 right now all stayed out. Here comes the 9 of more smoke. I don't know if he pit with the 4 Natty Dread right behind him. We'll have to see. This car's through the grass.
Bars through the grass, that's the 95 of Jose, the 24, I believe that's Coe, and the 24 that's also gone for a spill. Cars wrecking, flying through the air, 4 laps to go, cars damaged, and there's the yellow, Pete. There's the yellow. It will be a green, white, checkered finish in round 11 of the NNR Cup Series.
Man, green, white checker, these guys are really charging hard. Rick, this will be the restart of restarts. We've seen Stout Whiskey really able to jam on through those gears in the past 2 restarts. Will he be able to do the same exact thing when it's the money shift? Renegade, thank you very much for the follow. Definitely appreciate it. This is NNR. Please go on up, smash. Never mind, you just smashed that follow. Appreciate it. Fry Dog or Uncle Fry. I'm not going to call you that because I am older. SWAT still there. Vols, man, sorry, man. Hope your race went well. Or did you get bumped out too? I don't know. But here we go. Lining it up one more time. 3 to go. 2 car, 48, 42. 21 and the 36 of Boehner, your top 5.
White flag next time by, the 2 of Stout Whiskey leads, and that 48 of Aviator could have gotten a better start, but now the points leader, CGMX Rose, going for his 5th win in 11 starts this year. Unbelievable percentage, and Stout Whiskey, who needs max points to close the gap at the front, sitting at the lead. Now to the inside, Boehner coming off of turn number 4 to the white flag. Cars 3 wide out of the 4th corner. It's a race now, Pete. 42 to the inside.
42 to the inside, 2 cars of Stout Whiskey, though. He's going to have the preferred line. He's going to have the momentum. He's just got to be able to stay in the gas. Oh, that was raced. Oh, man. Oh, you get into it, and that's it. But, man, congratulations, Stout Whiskey. Oh, what a... I got to say, it was pretty good ending for, what happened. But either way, not too shabby. All right. I never took us back green. That whole thing seemed like we were under yellow. But, man, what a great finish.
Heat at CGMX Rose taking home the gold medal tonight. Stout Whiskey in second, Aviator third, A More Smoke fourth, Parzival rounding out the top 5 tonight. All
right. Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't have a live stream up. I'm glad you did. So appreciate the correction. SWAT's congratulating Stout as well. And just like me saying, damn it. But guys and gals, we're going to take a quick break while everybody loads on in. And we will talk to your top 3 here. And as the old saying goes, 2 and 2. We'll be right back. All right, we are back with your top 3. Again, 42 CGMX Rose going to go ahead and take the W. Stout Whiskey P2 and the Aviator in P number 3, rocking that old JJ throwback. Aviator, it's repeat, bud. You got me.
I do.
Man, I tell you what, the that last restart for the green-white checkers seemed like it was going to be the restart that y'all all had to get in order to have any kind of advantage. You got up and you got through the gears there pretty fast, but so did the 2 with Stout Whiskey. Was there any kind of an issue there? Were you still feeling some effects of lag? Or walk us through that restart in the last few laps, please.
Oh, well, you're definitely right about that being the most important restart, of course. But I just misdetermined exactly what we were allowed to do. So I assumed that we weren't allowed to go onto the apron before the start finish, so I didn't expect him to be down there. And by the time I realized he was down there, I was already too far behind him doing anything. So I just tried to fight my way into, or stay into 3rd position. So I was able to come up with that.
Well, I'll tell you what, buddy. You you made the decision to come on back full time, and these top 2, top 3s, wins coming soon. Man, they're all gonna play very, very well in your favor as we get into the second half of the season. After we visit Canadian Tire next week, it does start the flip side of this. I don't want to say short season, but shorter than what we've seen in recent years. What's your plan of attack for part 2?
Oh, I gotta win. I decided to come full time pretty late on, almost halfway through the season. So I definitely have to just keep getting as many wins as I can. Hopefully they'll start coming in soon. Pretty consistent in the top 3, so it's hopefully coming soon.
Well, buddy, congratulations one more time, ladies and gents. Aviator P3. Got any shout-outs, bud?
Shout out to Cody to actually figuring all that out. I wasn't sure if we were going to get going, so glad he stayed chill and made sure we were all ready to go.
There you go. Rick James, you got P number 2, driver of the 2, Stout Whiskey.
Stout, you managed to come home in second place in car number 2. You led a grand majority of stage number 3, but in the end, the restart, or I'm not sorry, in the end, it looks like turn number 4, you ran just a little high.
No, I was fine, man. It was just I had the preferred line, and Aviator and Rose were definitely quicker than I was, especially in that third stage. I felt like I had extremely good pace in the first stage and the second stage, but they made some really good adjustments, more quicker than I was, and just shit luck, man. Caution came out when Rose had a nose on me, and I definitely had the preferred line, and it would have been a drag race off the corner, and definitely felt like I would have won that drag race, but unfortunately, Calamity, it's nobody's fault. I chirped at somebody, but it's nobody's fault, man. I mean, a 19 lap restart, it bunches everybody up, and people that necessarily shouldn't be duking it out with other guys are, because we're just thrown back in a pile. But just really happy, man. I went with a preset 5. I didn't practice or anything, and it was really good. It was, I think, probably the 4th or 5th best car there. But with the low draft, having the lead, and especially being just a 1-lane track, it was nothing those guys could do behind me. And I just watched them in my mirror, and I'd brake a little bit early in the corner, so they'd have to brake or either hit me and hit the wall. You have to do that, but with the way the runs were, I was able to do that and keep them off of me, coming off the corners, so they couldn't get any mega runs. And I feel like I played it smart, did everything I could. I felt like I had control, and it just got taken away from me. But hey, that's racing. That's how it goes. And had fun tonight. Congratulations to Rose. He definitely deserves it. And we'll go to the whole road course next week and try to finish somewhere between 13th to 16th.
And how about any shout outs?
Just definitely you guys for everything you do, sacrificing time. I tell you that every time I'm in here, and I mean it, man. I really appreciate it. Really enjoy going back and watching the replays, and seeing discussions you guys have, and questions or anything that the people watching have. You gotta give a shout out to Coey. Mike Aviator said that was a mess, and he asked each driver. I refrained because it affected me either way. I feel like I didn't deserve to have a say so in what happened there. And of course, I got to give a shout out to my boys that I practice and race with every week, which is Dan the Lawman and J-Paw. I'm adopted part of J-Paw Militia, and try to make it a clean sweep tonight. And apologize to those guys. Just it's what it meant to be, and that's part of life. So, thank you.
Indeed, it is. Thank you so much, Stout. Pete, you are with our race winner tonight.
Well, I tell you what, CGMX Rose, I'm not going to do it because I know you don't like the hashtag, but buddy, you got your ears on.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, Rose. Well, man, I don't know if anybody told you in the beginning of the season, it's not a win and you're in kind of thing. You can back off the W's, give them to somebody else for a little bit. You got a pretty good points lead going into the second half of the season. Canadian Tires next week. You got the W here. It had to be by inches over Stout Whiskey. I think I'm really going to go back and watch that. I don't know. I think Stout might have got it, and the game just felt sorry for you or something. I don't know. But, man, walk us through those last 19 laps. Did you think you were going to have anything for Stout? It seemed like on both restarts he was able to get ahead of you. You got shuffled out to the bottom side where the 13 and others were able to get on by. Second caution comes out. Walk us through it.
Well, I just want to say I got extremely lucky with the server crash. I know many didn't benefit from it, but I personally think I did. But because I got a speeding penalty when we were going through that pit cycle, and it just kind of saved me. But it's just with the track being so one-lane dominant at the top, it was just so difficult to pass. I just got lucky with the caution there. I had just barely got in front of Stout, and I was going to try and pull a slider because it was the only shot I had. But luckily the caution came out, and I was just out front and got the win.
Well, we're going to have to change that hashtag of grow with Rose to win with Rose, because, man, Seems like now every race somebody's picking a Rose. Man, congratulations. Win number 5, I think, for you on the season. You broke the tie that you had with a more smoke, more points in your favor, stages, wins. So far, bud, you've got the complete season. Congratulations one more time on that W. Any shout-outs?
Yeah, thank you. Shout out to Cody, just like Stallion Aviator said, for staying calm and being able to regroup everybody and restart the race there. And shout out to everybody for a great race overall. Even though with that lowest draft that we had on, I thought we were able to produce a pretty decent product out there. So yeah, shout out to everybody.
Not bad. You know what, Coey, since I see you're in here, I'm going to grab you real quick as well. A lot of these guys giving you credit for, restarting that, and instead of just saying, you know what, guys, we're past it. Let's just move on. Somebody, just send me where you were at the end. I think the guys here have enough integrity to do that and do it, right on target. Why did you choose to go back green rather than just that?
Well, the biggest reason was because where everyone was. We just pitted, so everyone was kind of getting screwed where they were in the pits, and then the lag came out right where these guys were pitting, which apparently caused some chaos in the pits, and everyone's position and race was already kind of screwed up right there. I mean, it happened right at that time when we were pitting. So, and I left it up to the group to see what they wanted to do, and the majority said, let's finish it out. So I went with, that's the way we try to run NNR, it's a group effort, so.
All racers by heart.
I wanted them to do what they thought was best and finish it out that way. Some are going to disagree and some will agree, but hey, we tried the best we could do and put on a show for you guys.
Well, y'all put on a show. We're just fortunate enough to call it. Thanks for all you do for this place, Coey. Definitely appreciate it.
Thank you. Same to you guys.
Well, Rick, that is going to be it for this week at Kansas. We've seen 2 guys get their first time win in TGM Beast, and last night with Q-Dog, and tonight, the winningest driver this season in NNR, CGMX Rose. Any last second thoughts, bud?
It was fun watching this race unfold. It was fun in the first 2 stages up until we lost connection in stage 3. Great finish at the end there. I'm glad that we could get a good finish. Stout Whiskey proved himself right. I interviewed him at the end here in post race, and big congratulations to Rose and Aviator on getting podium positions as well.
Damn right, Rick.
There you guys go. All right, guys, just like Rick said, that's going to wrap it up. Kansas has been a lot of fun. Some people made memories. Unfortunately, the memories we're going to carry, a whole night full of server bumps, not only for NNR, but for about 2 or 3 other communities out there as well, sharing the pain. But hopefully there's a bright side to all this. We are going to see you next week, I believe, from Canadian Tire. Trucks are going to be Tuesday night, 9:30 Eastern. You're not going to want to miss it. Of course, Xfinity Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern. And then, of course, next Thursday. Between then and now, Sunday afternoon, 5 o'clock p.m., Shadow Racing League. They're going to be, I believe, at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's going to be the 3rd race towards a couple tickets to the Daytona 500, if we can all get back to that. And then on Monday night, you're going to want to come out and hang out with about 5 or 6 of these NNR guys in the PSES Racing League live from Darlington. Don't miss it. Until then, thanks for coming out, hanging out, chatting it up, keeping us busy. We'll see you somewhere around the track. Later, guys.